Hello, I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
Welcome to the podcast. It's game night, it's sibling rivalry, it's a walk down memory lane, but most importantly, it's politics free.
Guaranteed.
Welcome to round 9 of Pando. Here's how it works. We have a set of cards. On each one is written 3 personal questions. For example, one card asks, how many times did I shower this week? Can I spread my toes out? And do I have a life coach?
Why are those questions so funny, Heather?
I don't know. I'm very tired right now. Let me get through this explanation. First, I'll ask Ryan 3 questions pertaining to me, and he'll have to answer each one correctly, earning 1 point per correct answer and a bonus point for getting all 3 correct. Then we'll switch it around, and it'll be my turn. Whoever gets the most points wins the ever-coveted gloating rice trophy.
Until we play again.
Ryan, for the record, I've showered 7 times this week.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 0 times. I was going to be like, you nasty.
I shower every day, no fail. Like, literally almost never fail. I can spread my toes out on my right foot only. And I do not have a life coach unless you count me. I'm my own life coach.
Well done, Heather. How many times did I shower this week? Well, it depends. What day are we starting on? Monday or a Sunday?
I just counted the last 7 days from before today, like, as a week.
Okay, then.
A week can start on any day you want it to start on, Ryan.
Okay, well then, in the last 7 days, I have showered 6 times. That's
gross. You skipped a day. Gross.
That is because I spent the entire day of Saturday inside an air-conditioned apartment. So I didn't sweat or get nasty or grimy, and I pretty much vegged the entire day. So there was no need to shower. Can I spread my toes out? I don't think that what I'm doing to my toes is considered spreading them out, so I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And do I have a life coach? Absolutely not.
We don't need no stinking life coaches.
Yeah, who needs that? Jeez.
Fucking this up on my own just fine, thanks.
Hell yeah.
Again, the game we're playing is called Pando. That is Pando. It was created by Pando and is available at playpando.com. Link in the show notes. They are not a sponsor. Current running score. Ryan, 47. Heather, 47.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. Ryan, are you ready for your first card?
Yes.
Name something that almost always gives me anxiety.
Me.
No.
Okay, but that was a joke. That was a joke. No, wait. Hold on. That was a joke. That was a joke. Okay, but hold on.
I know it was a joke.
Okay.
I was just going to say, to reassure you, if you've ever given me anxiety, it's very little. Just so you know, as much crap as I give you.
Right. Okay, excellent. All right, so I don't think there is much that gives you anxiety, but if there were something, my best guess would be when you're out and about with Charlie and she's kind of on her own. That's my guess.
I'll give you that answer. Because it does, if there's anywhere where there's busy cars, yeah, I do get a little anxious. I try to stay near her because I frankly don't trust her not to run out in the middle of the road.
Right.
At any given point in time, paying no attention to the traffic. But the thing I had thought of, I don't know what kind of mother this makes me, but the idea of going to get a pap smear, and I've talked about this very recently already, gives me more anxiety than anything I can think of.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah. I think we talked about that recently.
When Charlie did walk off from me and I couldn't find her that one time in Erie, I told that story on a previous episode.
Yeah.
That was a lot more anxiety than wanting to go for a pap smear. So I think I'm actually okay. I'm not horrible. I'm not a horrible person.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you came to that conclusion.
Thank you. Thanks for walking me through that.
I don't think you're a horrible person either.
You're my life coach.
Do I get a bonus point?
My life coach.
Do I get a bonus point for that? Do I get an automatic bonus point for that?
Oh, God, no, you don't. You really don't. Because I want to win this fucking game. Ryan.
Yeah.
Would I rather have a job where I stand or sit all day?
I want to say a mixture of both. Like, who wants to sit all day? Who wants to stand all day?
You know, yeah. I mean, I was thinking, gun to my head, if I have to pick one,
Sit
I
all
would
day.
rather have stand all day.
Oh, damn it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
But since you picked what my actual answer is, I will give you a point for that.
Excellent.
Especially since you were just my life coach.
Thank you, Heather.
Life coach buddy. Ryan, have I ever been on a cruise?
I want to say yes. I'm going to say yes.
The answer is no. I have never been on a cruise.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, God, do I even dare mention? No, it wasn't a cruise. What's a cruise? No, I've never been on a cruise.
You've never been
Let's
on a river?
continue.
You've never been on a river cruise, Heather? Even for dinner?
I just suddenly did remember a time in high school when we went on the Seattle trip and we rode in a yacht on a river, but we didn't stay overnight and we didn't eat or drink anything. And it was like an hour. So I don't think that counts as a cruise.
That's a river cruise.
Okay. I don't want to give you the point. I don't feel like that was
That's
a cruise.
That's okay for my idea of cruise. That is definitely not what I had in mind.
No, a cruise is like with the huge ship that has a swimming pool and a restaurant on it and your room and you stay overnight and you go swimming and like I have not done that.
True dat. Heather, do I have a hidden tattoo?
Well, let me think this through, Ryan, because I know you have many tattoos.
Sure, I have a few.
I mean, technically, when you're wearing a shirt, your tattoos, some of them are hidden.
That is true, yeah.
So, yes, you have a hidden tattoo.
I would concur with you because, I mean, I think it's kind of an unfair question, to be honest with you. But yeah, you're right.
I don't think I have any hope of getting the next one. Please continue.
Heather, what is my favorite podcast?
I'm just going to say Crime Junkie.
Heather, any answer that is not the Politics Free podcast is not the right answer.
I originally was going to make that joke. And then I was like, is that too much self-promotion within our own episode?
That is no joke. This is my favorite podcast. By far, Heather. Favorite. But yes, it would be Crime Junkies.
Nailed it.
All right. Heather.
Yeah.
Have I ever been scuba diving?
I don't think you have.
Heather.
Maybe snorkeling, but I don't.
Heather.
I wanted to say, I was thinking, no, you haven't. Please be right.
Heather, I went to underwater welding school.
You scuba dived for that?
That's what underwater welding is.
Can I get a point? Because originally I was going to answer yes, but then changed my mind last second, but you couldn't read my mind, so you didn't know. I tell you what,
Heather, I tell you what. I will give you a point for it because I'm absolutely lying to you. So, yeah.
Oh. Cheater, pumpkin eater. All right. Ryan, name my go-to fast food restaurant.
Taco Bell.
Chipotle, baby. Love
Dude,
Chipotle.
I swear to God, every time I am on the phone with you, you're like, hold on, I'm at the Taco Bell drive-thru. Give me a second.
I know, but that's for Charlie. She gets the Taco Bell. I almost never get something to eat while we're there. She's going through a phase where she wants a taco every day. So we go get a taco every day. It's, I don't know.
Okay, Heather.
Ryan, can I cross my eyes?
Yes, you can.
No.
Shut
I don't know.
up.
I don't think that I can.
Heather, look at me. Look at me.
Okay. I'm going to look at you. Tell me if I'm crossing my eyes. If I can do this, I'm amazed. Ready?
Yes, you're crossing your eyes. Yes. You absolutely crossed your eyes.
Okay, fine. I didn't know I had that skill. Moving on. I don't try to do it very often. It hurts. It doesn't feel good. Does spicy food give me heartburn?
Well, I don't know because I'm not particularly fond of spicy food. Doesn't really give me heartburn. It just burns my mouth and it burns the other end when it comes out. Occasionally it gives me heartburn.
I think maybe we can handle the raunchy Pando. What do you think? Since we're talking about flaming diarrhea coming out of our anus, maybe we can't handle it.
I want to say sometimes. More times not than it does.
I mean, I guess I'll give you that. I can't say that I've never had heartburn from spicy food. I don't get heartburn very much at all, ever.
Right.
All right, hit me with my last card.
Heather, what internet browser do I use on my computer?
Well, Ryan, I think it's one of two. I think it's either Safari or Google Chrome. And I know that you use a MacBook, or at least last I knew it was a MacBook, unless you've gotten a new one.
So which one is it?
Oh, well, right now I know you're using Google Chrome because you have to, because Zencastr, the program we use to record the episode, doesn't work without Google Chrome. But do you... So sometimes Google Chrome, sometimes Safari?
Almost exclusively Google Chrome. The only time I use Safari is on my phone, but not on my computer. It's exclusively Chrome.
Damn it.
I'm sorry.
Fine.
I needed a break somewhere, Heather. I'm sorry.
Well, you got one.
All right, Heather. What is my all-time favorite video game?
I am just going to name the only video game name I could think of since I wrote that down 24 hours ago. Call of Duty.
Which one?
There's more than one? What?
Oh, Heather, there are so many Call of Duty titles, and it is very relevant.
All right, hold on.
If you're going to call it Call of
Duty. Call of Duty. Vanguard.
That's the latest one, isn't it? The answer is World at War.
I think I should get a point for that, for knowing absolutely nothing about video games and nailing it with
Heather,
my guess.
You only said Call of Duty because it's literally, you just said it's the only video game you know. So therefore, you got lucky for only knowing one video game, and it just so happened to be my favorite video game. But Heather, there are over 14 different Call of Duties, and they
Excuse
are
me,
all
sir.
very different from each other.
I gave you a point for the Pixel 4 thing. I think I should get a point for Call of Duty.
And I guessed it based on my Google search. You didn't guess it based on your Google search.
But my Google search didn't show me World of Warcraft or whatever the fucking subtitle is.
World at War. All right, Heather, I will give you half a point for that.
Okay, I'm taking it. Taking the half. I don't turn my nose up at free stuff.
Heather, are you ready for your final question?
Yep.
Do I have soft water in my house?
Well, Ryan, as soon as I find out what that means.
Well, soft water has less minerals in it.
Okay. Yes, you do.
I absolutely do not know. I think ours is probably more soft than it is hard.
I'm taking a point for that.
You can have half a point for that, Heather. Half a point.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Well, anyway, that means I scored 5 points in this round, and you scored 4.
Awesome. So I'm only one behind.
Plus 47 plus 4 is 51. And that means I have 52. I squeaked ahead by a point. Woo-hoo! It's time for research inspired by this week's game. And this research is inspired by the question, what is your favorite podcast? That we had earlier in the game. So I thought, hey, what are the top 10 most listened to podcasts? And according to alltopeverything.com, they are as follows. In the number 10 spot, Morbid, a true crime podcast.
Oh, interesting.
Which I've never listened to. I should check that one out.
You know what? That got recommended to me by one of my classmates, and I have yet to check it out.
We should check it out this week.
Okay.
All right. Number 9, Stuff You Should Know, which I've never listened to. Number 8, Pod Save America, which is a political podcast, which I don't know anything about because I don't listen to it. Number 7, Office Ladies, I have listened to many episodes of. And if you're a fan of The Office, that is actually a great podcast. Office Ladies.
Okay.
Number 6, The Daily, which I don't know, I'm guessing is like a news podcast or something. I'm not familiar with The Daily, although I've heard of it. Number 5, The Ben Shapiro Show, which is a political podcast. Number 4, My Favorite Murder, which is a true crime podcast, which I used to listen to them, but I don't anymore. Fun fact, me getting tired of that podcast was what inspired this podcast. Let's move on.
Of which podcast?
Number 3, My Favorite Murder.
Ah.
Number 3, Call Her Daddy. I have never heard of this podcast, and I'm like very familiar with podcasts because I listen to them and I see, I check out a lot of different ones. But this is by somebody named Alexandra Cooper, and it's a love relationship advice podcast, which means I won't be listening to it. Number 2 spot, Crime Junkie. Whoop, whoop, whoop,
Wow.
whoop. And you know what's in the number 1 spot. You could guess. You could guess in a second.
Is it the Politics Free podcast, Heather?
Ryan, it is not the Politics Free podcast.
Oh, darn.
This might be the least listened to podcast in the world. The Joe Rogan Experience takes the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Here's some fun facts. Fun facts about podcasting. There are over 850,000 active podcasts. That doesn't include over 1 million total if you include ones that are no longer active.
Mm-hmm.
51% of Americans reported listening to a podcast. 37% listen every month. The average podcast listener listens to 6 hours and 39 minutes weekly. And if you play it at twice the speed, you can listen to even more. That's what I do.
Heather, when you said 51% of Americans, I really thought you were going to say 51% of Americans report that they have a podcast.
Love it. Probably they do. 75% of podcasts are no longer in production. There's actually a word for it. It's called pod fade. So 75% of podcasts have pod faded.
Oh.
And there's still 850,000 active ones.
Wow.
45% of podcast listeners have a household income over $250,000. Where's that for me? I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I just feel like I need my due here. 49% of podcast listeners listen to the programs at home. 59% of listeners have done housework at the same time. I do that. That is almost entirely how I listen to all my podcasts, either while driving or doing housework. 51% of those surveys said they listen while driving. 46% have listened to podcasts while out on a walk. I've done all of those things. I really like podcasts.
How come you're not making $200,000 a year, Heather?
I don't know. I guess I got to get myself into that 45% there.
Yeah,
that
you do.
That sounds pretty good to me. Now, before we end off the research segment here, I just want to remind everybody that there are 850,000 active podcasts. I'm not sure I mentioned that, which means we need your help to share this podcast because that is a lot of competition right there. Tell somebody about it this week. Text them a link to an episode you enjoy. Hey, 2 weeks ago we had the sleepwalking episode. That was hilarious. Send them that one. They're going to love it.
Yeah. Bump us up to 400 or 800.
250,000.
Bump us up to 849,999th place, okay?
Hey, by the way,
Uh-huh.
this is going to tie right into the listener story segment because we actually do have a listener story this week.
Like from somebody we don't know?
I don't think you know him.
Oh, so
But it's Brandon from Space Cloud.
okay.
I mean,
all right, fair enough.
he's cool. We like Brandon.
Yeah.
But he has a sleepwalking story for us that he sent me. He answered our post on Instagram, which was thrilling. Here we go. So he says, as a teenager, I woke up in the middle of the night to a feeling of something tapping against my foot. I opened my eyes and peered up to see my older sister standing at the foot of my bed, very still-like. I called out to her to see what was going on, to no avail. She then grabbed hold of my bed sheets and quickly tore them off my bed. I yelled, "What the fuck?" And she just stood there briefly zombie-like, and I noticed her eyes were shut. She then carried my comforter into the hallway, dropped it, and sauntered back into her own bed. I confronted her about it the next day, and we had a good laugh. But I was a bit freaked out at first. Thank you, Brandon. That was delightful.
Brandon, your sister was 100% fucking with you.
She was just trying to creep you out on purpose. So, look, I also got a few Reddit stories. I thought it would be fun to do some tattoo horror stories.
Ooh.
So here we go. From a deleted account. So the question is, what are your tattoo horror stories? And this one says, half naked, getting a thigh piece at a certified shop, and in walks my ex, who I hadn't seen since he dumped me because he wanted to hang out at the skate park more often, which has got to be the worst reason ever to be dumped. Think he turned around and left? Nope. He started telling me all about his new girlfriend and his latest drunken adventures.
Wow.
For 2 hours. So that tattoo hopefully turned out okay. She didn't mention it.
Wow. Why didn't you just tell the guy to get lost?
Maybe she was in too much pain from the tattoo needle.
I would be so annoyed.
Me too. From another deleted account. Well, I got a popular culture tattoo on my calf right when I turned 18. 7 years later, I don't identify with the symbol anymore, and I hate wearing shorts because people then see it. I really should get a cover-up, but the calf is such a shitty location for a tattoo.
It's a kanji. I know all about that.
Well, I tell you what, this is why I never got a tattoo when I was young. I guess I was mature enough to have the foresight that I might not appreciate still having it at some point in the future. Like if I change my mind, I mean, I got a lot of years of life ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And at the age now of almost, well, I'm 41.
Wow,
I
you're so
still
old.
don't want to get one in case I decide I don't like it later. That's where I'm at on it.
Yeah.
And from Hal Briston, a tattoo horror story in 3 words. Ex-wife's name. One of the worst ones. All right, from the Streak Lord. Props to the name. One time, I was asleep and suddenly woke up to the sound of wheezing coming from my parents' room. I got up to check on them. I still remember every step I took leading up to the door. My heart was pounding. Crazy thoughts poured through my mind. I feared the worst. I turned the knob. There, in my parents' bed, I saw a large cigarette holding a knife to my dad's throat. I screamed and called the police. Edit. I thought it said tobacco. That just made me laugh. They misread tattoo.
That reminds me, Heather, that I found out recently that 10 plus 10 and 10 plus 12 both equal 20.
Is it a joke?
Yes.
Oh, no, they don't. What am I supposed to say? How so?
Okay. What's 10 plus 10?
20.
What's 10 plus 12?
22.
Exactly.
Question of the week.
Mm-hmm.
What song currently speaks to you the most?
I mean, songs don't really speak to me. I like to listen to songs. And there's like songs that I'll...
But isn't there ever a song where you go, I get that in my heart. Thank you so much.
No, I just go, wow, this song is so catchy. I will listen to this again. And I'm like, oh, wow, the song sounds so good. Because I don't, like, for me, okay. So I had this conversation with Rebecca not too long ago. I wanted to play her this really catchy tune that I had just heard. And so I'm playing it for her, and I'm like, yeah, singing along with it. And she goes, oh my God, I can't believe you like this song. He's talking about murdering his wife. And I'm like, sitting there like, listening to the lyrics. And I'm like, oh yeah, he is. Wow. He really makes that sound catchy. And so it's like, I just hear a tune and like vocals, and sometimes they just mesh really well. and it sounds great, and it could be like the most horrendous thing in the world, and my mind just does not process it. I'm like, wow, this song's great. And it's like mass genocide. I'm like, yeah, all right.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I've definitely done that. Like, there have been songs that I just think are really catchy, and then one day, for some reason, I end up paying attention to the lyrics, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really down with the lyrics, but great. I like the song. I mean, it's hard not to.
Once it registers to me, I'm just like, wow, it's still a good song. I like, the message isn't great, but I like the song. Like, I can't help liking the song because it just sounds so good and catchy.
I'm right there with you. But I also have it where songs really have an emotional impact on me, and I really feel like I'm in tune with the artist that wrote it.
Right.
Like, I have one that is an answer to the question of the week, but the one and only time that an actual pop song, at least modern pop, did that to me was, I think it's Blurry Face, and the song is called Stressed Out.
Yep.
I was like, yep. And I listened to that thing on repeat, like over and over. I'm like, yep, stressed out. That's me. Right now, the song that really speaks to me, I heard it in a show, and it made me forget that the show existed and stop what I was watching and go find the song.
Oh, I've had that.
So I could listen to it. And it's called Looking for Knives. And it's by, I don't know how to pronounce the artist's name, but it's spelled D-Y-A-N, like Ryan, but with a D. So I don't know if it's Diane or Diane or Dian, or I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I couldn't find it. I tried to look it up so I would say it right, but I don't know. But that song is phenomenal. Found the song. It's so good. Yeah, I found the song, and I've been listening to it on repeat for weeks. I just love it so much. And it really, really speaks to me.
There was like a period where I almost exclusively just listened to like punk and heavy metal. And I really did not, I pretended not to like any other music outside of that. But top 40 pop music was my guilty pleasure. And if I was driving by myself in my car in the middle of the night, I would be like blasting like whatever was on Z100, like, yeah! But so I wish I could remember. I'm pretty sure it was a Meg Myers song that I heard. I was probably like in my late 20s. Anyway, I was doing side work, and I happened to be taking this guy's car to go get detailed. That this guy that I was working for kind of like basically is an assistant. So he just like threw me his keys to his Porsche and told me to go get it detailed. So I was like, cool beans.
Nice.
And
I think you mean his Porsche.
His Porsche. Excuse me, his Porsche. And so he had XM radio, and so I was listening to the alt station because I was trying to mix it up, trying to find something new, and this Meg Myers song popped up, and I was like, wow, this song is really awesome. Like, this is a great song. And so I kept listening to the station, and I was like, wow, it was like one great song after another. I was like, why haven't I been listening to alternative music this entire time? And so from there, I've really broadened my horizons on the genres of music I listen to. I have a really great appreciation for many, many genres.
Yeah.
Basically, if it makes my foot tap,
there you go,
then I like it,
Yeah, I mean, I've discovered songs in many different genres that I appreciate. Like, sometimes there might be a genre that I don't tend to listen to, but there'll always be at least a few songs in it where I really, really like the song. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that about wraps it up. I would just like to welcome Paraguay to the podcast. Ooh. Welcome. South America loves us, okay? Loves us.
Yes, they do.
Argentina loves us. That's the only one that's stuck with us so far. I was like, Chile and the other one, Venezuela. And like the last 2 weeks, they were like, no, thank you. Do not include us in your welcomes. And I guess that's it. Please share the podcast.
And send us your stories.
Oh, I forgot all about, how did I not mention that? Send us your stories. Comment on our Instagram post. Message me on Instagram at The Politics Free Podcast, or email me, thepoliticsfreepodcast outlook.com. Those are all in the show notes. They're all linked right in the show notes. You can click right to it. You don't have to look for us. Until we play again.
Until we play again. All right.
Oh my God.
I had some stubborn phlegm stuck in my throat.
That was hilarious.